Welcome to Conversations with Kalekye. My name is Kalekye Nimo, and I'm excited to have you here because this is where love finds a voice. We are Africa's best relationship podcast as voted by the APVA, and we are aiming to hold that title with your help as you continue to subscribe, follow, share, and ensure that we are growing. By the way, good news, we have made it to 7K on YouTube, and I'm aiming for that 10K. So please, guys, you know what you need to do. Now, we are continuing our series on parental trauma and dating. If you missed our last episode, you need to catch up because we actually had a gentleman sit here and share how rejection from his own parents kept showing up in his relationships and affecting him after he had an accident that had nothing to do with him. It changed who he was, how he looked, and still he was getting body shamed. It's quite the episode, so go check it out. But today, as we continue our conversation with an amazing lady, she's not a guest here. She's been with us before. In fact, she was here speaking around the month of love in last season's Love Stories, where she shared how to navigate Valentines, whether you are dating or not dating, not to be eaten up by the entire thing. That time, she was representing the agency she works for, IVAL, but today she's here in her own capacity as a woman, a daughter, a girl who just wants to share what generational parental trauma she has witnessed in her family and how it has shown up. Did you know that it can be generational? Well, I guarantee you by the end of this conversation, this is a girl who's aiming to break this thing and this cycle from continuing in her family. Achie Nimo, welcome to Conversations with Kalekye.
Thank you for having me.
So nice to have you back.
I'm glad.
Yeah, you know, it's so good when you have guests who are like, I can come back, I can contribute to this conversation. It's beautiful. And even the fact that this particular episode is not just even about the generational parental trauma, but it's more of a dedication to your mom.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yes, this is a dedication to my mom. She passed on last year, 26th of June. So we just marked 1 year.
Yeah.
Yes. Her name was Jane Atieno Onyango. Nyakoguta, as we say from the lakeside, which means she comes from a place called Koguta.
Okay.
Yes, the daughter of that place.
The daughter of that place.
Yes.
And so you coming here today is a step of vulnerability.
Yes.
To just share about that relationship with your mom, some of the things you recognized that deeply carried through from your mom and into your life at some point. So just walk us through maybe the relationship with your mom. I know there's a different relationship we have when we're children, then we become teenagers, then we're young adults. So maybe just give us those 3 different phases. What was that relationship like?
I think before we get into me, let's start with her.
Okay. Tell me about her.
Nyakoguta, or Nyaronyango, as her friends used to call her, was a daughter of a pastor and a teacher.
Wow, okay.
So her mother was a housewife, but now my grandfather was a teacher and a pastor.
Okay.
So my mother getting pregnant before she's married and first year of campus was something that was, and because I'm like, this is an educator who's like, what are you doing? Whose child are you?
And a pastor on top.
And then now this is a pastor. I'm like, where's the ring? Where are the cows?
What were you doing?
What were you doing? So how are you pregnant? And we know you're not Mary. So that's now the background. So she got pregnant with my brother.
Okay.
And then now she carried to term and everything. But now what happened when she got pregnant is how her dad's response broke her because she was a daddy's girl.
Okay.
So my grandfather basically said, as far as I am concerned, you do not exist.
Oh my, he cut her off completely.
Yes, they didn't talk for about 10 years.
What? He never saw his grandchild, nothing.
Yeah.
Did he kick her out?
No, because now she was in Nairobi, so there was no kicking out. But it's just
so she stayed in campus, stayed in Nairobi.
But now remember, this is a daddy's girl.
So
and then she already feels like I've disappointed my father.
Yeah.
And then now the dad's response. So that really broke her. And then now fast forward, several years later, she gives birth to me, the daughter. So that fear was transferred to me fully, 100%. And so when I was young, I was very talkative and loud and inquisitive, which I still am, but I was very inquisitive and curious in everything. And so out of fear, my mom really tried to calm me down. So
what did she do? What do you
like
mean?
it's like when the visitors come, like, oh, that's so nice. So what have you been up to? What have you been doing? So it'd be like, come. No, don't ask people like that. Wait for them to engage.
So don't speak.
Yes, don't be the one to initiate conversations.
All right.
Be the one to respond in conversations.
Okay.
And so that marked at least from when I was 6, 7 there to about a teenager. And then at teenagehood, I completely rebelled. And I was like, I'm done with you people. I'm
going to speak the way I want to speak.
Not really speak. I didn't rebel in terms of speaking. I was just like they talk and I'd shut down. Like you can be having a conversation and I don't know what you've said.
You don't listen? You don't pay attention to them?
I don't pay attention. In my head, I can be planning. I can be there doing in my treehouse coloring, but you're talking to me.
But why were you responding in this way? What was making you respond this way?
I was feeling like I'm not accepted for me.
Right. Okay.
But then for her, she's like, I don't want my daughter to end up like me.
Okay.
So she's operating from a point of fear, and me, I'm just like,
of course, you don't understand.
I don't understand. And now the contrast of it is all my friends, all my cousins loved my mom. Like everyone was, because she was the cool mom. She's the mom who, when you want your daughters to have the sex conversation, you take them to my mom.
Right.
Like every time when you're having conversations with even my cousins, they're like, you're so lucky she's your mom. In my head, I'm just like,
It's not the same at home?
You don't know.
Does not translate.
And it wasn't even just at home because we were living with these cousins. It's just that her response to me was different from her response to other people. So to other people, she was a safe space. But to me, she wasn't.
She was strict on you?
Yes, she was strict. She was like, you need to do this. You need to show up. You need, it's always like you need to be at your best. So what I interpreted is I always needed to be at my best for me to get acceptance.
And so if you're not at your best, there's nobody who's going to accept you.
Yes.
And so therefore you just might as well give up on that whole
Yes, so
thing.
I need to decide. And so now what ended up happening is I used to show up in different places as different people. Right. So there are people who know the Achie who's very quiet and reserved. There are people who know the crazy Achie who
speaks up,
who will speak up and speak her mind. Yeah. And there are people who know an in-between, very intellectual Achie who, there are people who know the Shpiri Achie, demon chasing, tongue speaking, that's Achie. And so in different spaces, I used to show up differently. Okay. Because I was like, what does this space need? I'll show up like that. What is acceptable in this space? I'll show up like that. What is acceptable in this place? I'll show up like that.
So clearly your mom had such a huge impact on who you are, how you thought. And was she like the naysayer in the back of your mind, even as you made different decisions?
I wouldn't say the naysayer, but she was the marking scheme.
Oh, right. Okay. Interesting.
So if she did not approve, it doesn't matter who else approved.
Okay. This is sounding so familiar to my own relationship with my mother. Now I'm like, okay, let me take notes. How about in your romantic relationships? Because you see, if this is the yay or naysayer marking scheme, how were you able to date and successfully, move about? Or was it like the standards now became super high because they have to fit mom? Did you even care about whether they fit what you want?
So for dating was a bit different because my mom was also a proper Miss Independent.
Okay.
So she used to do her own things, everything. Like she'd do her own things. She'd make her own decisions and whatnot. But now when I started like dating, I think I really wounded my first 2 boyfriends because I showed up like that. I remember there's even one that asked me, when you talk about the future, I'm not there. It's almost like I'm an accessory.
What did you used to say?
Like just the way I'd talk about the future, like I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to build my house. I'm going to have this. Like it was,
Not at hours or...
I'll have children.
Yeah.
But it will be me and my children.
Not me, you and the children.
Yes, it won't be at our family. It will be, I'm going to take my children to this school. I'm going to do this with my children. So at some point they're like, where am I in this picture? And I'm that kind of person who I'll tell you, can you do this? I'll tell you once. The second time you'll find me doing it.
Yeah, that's a problem. Guys don't take too well to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's how I used to show up in relationships.
Right.
And so I didn't have time for negotiations. What are we negotiating? Are you doing it or not?
So let me ask, because when that's become your primary way of going, there's also in the background your mom. Did you guys become friends enough for you to also ask her, there's this guy, were you involving her at some point?
Later on is when we started having that conversation. But before, like for me, it was, so because my mom is a marking scheme, so I've already created for her questions that need to be answered.
Okay.
So, and now in my head, I'm like, oh, she thinks like this. So I'm like, you need to be, I'm sapiosexual. Like you need to be intelligent for me to even
begin a conversation
or even glance your direction.
Right.
But it's not really, if you ask me why, I don't know. But I think in my head, in my marking scheme, I was like, yeah, you need to be someone who, she'll see, and yeah, you're not some riffraff. Like
so
you have some substance.
This substance.
Yes, you have some substance. You're intelligent. You can hold a conversation. You can hold your thoughts.
Okay.
You needed to be someone who's, because my mom worked in hospital, so you needed to be someone who's health conscious. You need to figure out.
And this is not because it matters to you, but it's because it matters
matters to her. Because again, remember, I didn't know it up until I think in my mid-20s that I was trying to get her approval. So for me, I was just going about life and making decisions just for the sake of it. But what I was really trying is like the day she'll say, good job.
Right.
So I was chasing that without knowing. But then it's because in my head, there was a conflict because I'm like, what I hear people say about my mom and what I'm experiencing is night and day. It was even worse because even my brother, when my brother talks about my mom, it's completely different. I'm like,
your own brother?
Yes. Do we have the same mother? Because I think we're talking about different people.
So how did he interpret her?
So my brother knew my mom as a nurturer, a safe space, a protector. I only experienced her as a protector.
The nurturing part was missing.
No, I didn't feel it.
What would you have wanted her to do for you to feel it?
I think it's just the words of affirmation, just being like, it's okay. You can do this.
You can be you.
You can be you.
I love you the way you are.
I love you. I care about you because it's you, not because of the achievements that you've made. And thank God I got to experience it. We'll talk about it later. I got to experience it before she left. But when I was young, that's a craving I really had. Yes. And the reason I'm saying I used to experience as a protector is people in my school knew don't mess with me because my mom will come for you. Oh. Even the teachers.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, she will, hands down, she'll come for you.
Wow.
Like, don't mess with my child.
But that's where she drew the line. After that, you're on your own on this thing, just do this, and this, the way I've told you.
Yes. I remember when I was in high school, there's a time I corrected a teacher. It was a male teacher and he took it very negatively. And he took me to the staff room. He was like, I'm going to call your mother. And I was like, call.
No problem.
And I called my mother. My mom was like, yeah, send her home.
It is okay.
Yes.
Hey, your mom was something else. We would have been worked on by the teacher. Then she works on me. As in it, everybody would have worked on me.
My mom was like, even there's a time I was unwell and I was in high school and the school took a while before communicating to her. And so when they communicated, they're taking me to hospital. My mom showed up in school at 5 a.m. Wow. And I didn't even know what happened. So I was being told when I went. Yes. She showed up. And she didn't even go, because I had been taken to hospital. She didn't go to hospital to see her daughter first. She showed up in school to read for them the Riots Act and then come see her daughter.
Where?
So that's the kind of mom. She was very protective.
So would you say then she was almost like a savior, protector to you? And because she's been trying to protect you from the mistakes she made that she never told you.
Yes.
So it's like a savior mentality kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure. I think she had that it's almost like she had the junior Holy Spirit syndrome.
Junior Holy Spirit. Please explain that to people who do not know what you're talking about.
It's that I am going to do everything to make sure that bad things don't happen to you, irrespective of what's going. So she had that in her all through. And that showed up in all her relationships, not just with me, but that's what I experienced the most. And so you see, sometimes when she's protecting me from fears that only exist in her world, I'm not taking it as protection.
You don't even know what the fear is.
I don't even know what the fear is. I don't understand. I'm not taking it as protection. I'm taking it as you just don't like me.
Right.
You just don't accept me for you don't accept. I remember there's a time we had an altercation with her. I think I just cleared Form 4 and I just told her, you raised me to be independent and speak my mind. But when I speak my mind, it's a problem. So what do you want?
How does she take that?
Hey.
Whatever.
Let's just say I stayed outside till midnight.
Oh, right. You were kicked out?
Yes.
And told, this is my house.
This is my house, my rules. I have the constitution.
You follow.
Yes.
So, because of this kind of, it's almost like savior mentality, junior Holy Ghost, I'd say even controller, kama wa state house, yani ana control what's happening here and there. Budget, nini. Did you start to notice this in yourself? Do you feel that you have those traits to other people in your life?
No, I now became the opposite.
Okay.
Because, now this is what I'm detesting. So I was like, I am going to do everything in my power to be the opposite. But now the challenge of being the opposite is you lack boundaries.
Right. So people have been pushing you and you accept it because you think this is what you would have wanted for yourself.
This is what I would have wanted. This is how to treat people and in my head I interpreted that this is how to treat people in a honorable manner. But it wasn't, because I was hurting.
So what are some of the things you were doing that broke boundaries, especially in your romantic relationships?
So like I would over-sacrifice.
Okay.
So I'm like, we've started dating. And so you're like, oh, you need this. It's okay. I will walk to Mombasa, go get it and bring it.
I'm sorry, what?
Is it a need or is it a want? Because for me, I'm like, I'm showing up for you.
I will break my back?
Yes, I will break my back. And it didn't just show up in my romantic, even my friendships.
Okay. So I'm about to be your friend. I hope you've changed.
My friend, boundaries, Zico. Things change. So even with my friendship. So what used to happen is, there's one of my friends who used to describe me as this. Is it to say, before you get to my heart, you get through crocodiles, then the wall of China, then a dragon, then the fiery blaze, then you get to my heart. But once you get to my heart, you can have the world. Free range.
And that's risky because, of course, you make it difficult for them to get in. But when they get in, all of a sudden, it's too easy. Yes. So somebody can take extreme advantage of you. Have you been taken advantage of by the people?
Yes, a lot. Yes.
Some examples of things that went south.
So I remember there's one of my exes who, because I was like, why are you paying so much rent when you can convert it to mortgage and everything? And then started saying I hated him and I hated his things. And so for me, I took that as the gospel truth. And I was like, oh no, and everything. So what used to happen, I started shrinking myself.
To fit into his
so I wouldn't give an opinion, even though I know that's a stupid thing you're doing. I'd just be like, no, it's okay. We decided. I'm like, did I decide?
But anyway, if it makes you happy and you accept
if it makes you happy and we are good. And in fact, we're engaged. So why should I rattle the waters?
How long did that last?
Huh?
How long?
The engagement lasted, I think, 5 months.
Until you said, I can't continue to pretend.
No, he actually broke up with me.
Oh, what was his reasoning?
So we had a fight and I was like, if I'm like, take you. I gave the friend because we had a fight, and then he was hanging out with other people, and I was like, take the ring. When you're ready to talk, come find me. So when he was ready to talk, he was like, this thing is over.
Wow.
And I was like,
watch me.
No, it wasn't watch me. I was so broken. I got into depression. I was even hospitalized.
Achie.
Yes.
The strong Achie I know.
My friends. I was hospitalized for, I think, about 4 days. I couldn't even function.
But I'm trying to understand how you got there, because already you had shrunk yourself. You were aware you were shrinking yourself for this person.
I wasn't then.
Okay.
Now, this realization came out later.
Okay.
Again, remember, I have a marking scheme that I have created, and it's being used by someone else, because the same way my mom is making assumptions, I'm also making assumptions about her.
Yeah.
So we are two people who are trying to relate by making assumptions, and we are making decisions based on those assumptions. So now that's what happened. But that broken engagement was the blessing that my mom and I needed.
What changed after that?
Because now when I was hospitalized, and my mom was with me in the hospital, and I remember the doctor came and said, the two of you need to talk. And
the doctor did?
Yes. And you need to have a brutal conversation. Unfortunately, that's around the time she was first diagnosed with cancer as well. So through now navigating that whole space, we both ended up in therapy.
Wow.
And so we started now having conversations and rebuilding our relationship. It was hard. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was so hard because you have to confront truths about yourself. And she also had to confront truth about herself. And then now we had to figure out, okay,
where do we meet each other?
Now that this is where we are at, how do we move on? How do we move forward?
So I'm curious, what are some of the truths you learned about yourself?
One was, I can be a people pleaser.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I thought I wasn't. I thought I was a no nonsense, I don't care. It's just that my people pleasing doesn't show up the way generally people expect.
How does it show up?
So mine shows up in the independent way. I'm like, I'm going to do it on my own.
But you're still pleasing somebody by doing this thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And mine would show up in terms of making decisions, not because it's what's best for me, but because I need to prove a point.
Okay. So even if it's the wrong thing that is
and
for
I will,
you?
I normally, my friends and I, we normally joke is, I'm the kind of people who, if I'm doing bad, I do it and I'm ready to live with the consequences.
You do bad badly and you go, no, you do bad so well and you live with it.
And I'm okay. In fact, I say I'm comfortable living with the consequences.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And your mom, did she accept some of these things that you now talk about, like her fears? Did she ever reveal what her real fear was?
Yes, she did. That's how I actually even knew what happened back then.
Yeah.
Actually, I think most of my relatives will know now.
Because she had not said
she
it
hadn't
before.
told anyone. So people didn't know what had happened.
That first pregnancy caused such a break with her dad that it affected how she showed up.
And then now she also did the same thing to me, because when I cleared campus, I wanted to do a 1-year leadership program. So I didn't want to get into employment immediately. And I remember she woke up in the morning before she went to work. She calculated how much I owed her. And she told me, leave my money and any hints of you. I need them out of this house
because
by the time I come back.
Because you are choosing not to get employed.
Yes.
You're wait. Money you owe me?
That is money she spent on me since I was born.
She calculated for you?
Yes, she calculated for me.
Anga diaper,
to the cent.
What are you saying?
Yes. Because again, remember, I'm going off script. When you finish campus, when you finish campus, you go and get employment. But now you want to take a year off to do the leadership program where you're not being paid. In fact, you're asking people to give you money because it was a leadership program in church. So you're not being paid. You're asking people to give you money and you're educated. Why are you being lazy?
I can't believe she calculated to the last.
Yes. And she told me, leave, and I don't want any hint of you by the time I come back.
My God. It's so surreal that you would hear her do that when it hurt her so much when her father told her, we're done.
Yes. But remember, for her, she's like, I want to protect my daughter.
And this
Because
is how
even
to
all
do
through
it.
campus, one of her biggest fear was I'd get pregnant.
Yeah, because she got pregnant.
Yes. I didn't get pregnant. All through, that was one of her biggest fears. And so when she did that again for her, she's like, that will cause me to reconsider my choices. But then remember, I'm also like, I'm going to do it and I'm going to prove to you that I will make it.
So you did do the leadership program?
Yes, I did. And now this was the most interesting bit. Now she became an advocate for that program. She used to tell her friends, your child doesn't know what they want to do. They need to figure out, send them to church to do this program. It has really helped. Yes.
No. I'm going to take a couple of breaths there.
Yes.
Hey, Achie. So I'm glad that you finally did get to talk and then she got to share her fears. So how did that relationship morph now? Considering she has just gotten her diagnosis for cancer, you guys have had a breakthrough, I believe. Then what does that look like, and how long does that relationship grow into this strong person who is aware? Because I can see you're very self-aware now about these things that happen and that they've been in your generation. I mean, I don't know if they showed up with your aunties and other people. Maybe you can share about that. How did that relationship morph?
So one, it took time.
Okay.
And intentionality, because both of us had to do the work on ourselves and then come to the table and have conversations. So at first, it wasn't easy. Just to give a broad picture, I think where I'd say my mom became my safe space was in 2020. And this is a journey that you begin in 2015, the healing journey. Wow. So for 5 years, she was still not a safe space. Wow. But we were talking, we were having conversations. And those conversations were hard because I was telling her ways that she hurt me. I'm like, you remember. And some of the things she'd forgotten.
Of course, I can imagine.
And I'm like, yeah, you remember when we were at Auntie Nani's and this happened? And she's like, eh?
That's what you interpreted about that. Because that's the other thing. There's a way she delivered whatever she delivered, and there's a way you interpret it, and they're not often the same thing.
Yes. But now the other thing I came to learn is I was too similar to her.
That's where the clash was.
Yes. The only difference was she was more quiet. I was just a more vocal version of her.
No, you were a suppressed version because you were not the version of you that was you. That's the other thing. You were not you.
Yes.
You are dealing with her parental trauma that suppressed you, the person Achie, and became a mini her, but with still, bursts of yourself.
Bursts of myself.
Right.
But then in terms of even to date, there's a lot of similarities, which I'm also picking from her friends, from even families, even how we think, how we process. There's a lot of similarities, just that I'm more outspoken than she was.
Okay.
But I suspect she wasn't because of that break with her father. But thank God they also recovered before now my grandfather passed. Good. She didn't share much of that journey, but what she said is by the time my grandfather was leaving, she felt like she was a daughter once again.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's really important.
Yes.
That's really important.
And so one of the things that had to happen was we had to name the hurt.
Okay. You named it. What did you call it?
So I was like, one of the hurt was I didn't feel like she respected me.
Okay.
And she didn't feel like I honored her as my mother. She actually felt like I used to look down upon her.
Wow. Now that's a big surprise. I can imagine that was surprising even for
you. I was like, what do you mean?
I've been holding you up.
You're in a pedestal.
Scheme. You're the whole marking scheme. What do you mean?
Yes.
How did she take you saying that you didn't feel she respected you?
She took it well because, again, we'd started therapy. But I think now the journey to the reconciliation is what took longer. Because in as much as you've named it, I feel like you're disrespecting me.
How do we
But it's like, this is how we've operated for... Remember, by then, I'm in my mid-20s. This is how we operated for this number of years.
Yeah.
So now we need to get a new way of relating.
So did you manage that? And
Yes, we did. There's still pockets here and there where the default would come, but we did. And I'd say by the time mom was leaving, she was literally my friend. She wasn't
nice.
just my mom.
Nice.
She was my friend.
Yeah.
And she was, and now instead of being in a pedestal, she was actually a role model to me.
Wow.
And it's because of even her addressing some of those things, because the interesting thing about healing a relationship is it continues as long as you're alive. Because something happens, it triggers something, and then you're like, this is where this comes from. And then you guys have to go back and have the conversation. It's not okay, so let's have coffee. Tumemaliza, we are reconciled, let's move
because
on.
Things keep showing up differently.
Things keep showing up. You keep remembering things. You keep getting triggered. There's some interactions that happen. You're like,
I need
down.
to move.
And everything. But then the other thing that really hurt my mom that I didn't know is I shut down.
Okay.
And she could see it's just to her.
That thing where she'd be telling you something, talking to you about something, and you're just not.
Yes, I like, if you ask me what was she saying, I'm like, I don't know.
But that was your safety box. I think that was a place where you're like, if I don't shut it down, I'm going to either explode, something's going to go wrong, and the honor that you have will just end.
There was no honor, to be honest. When I was younger, there was no honor. It was more fear than honor. I think for the past 24 years of my life, my mom and I relationship was very transactional.
Okay.
It's just because I needed her. That is why we were relating. But if I could have gotten my independence at 12, I would have shut down at 12.
And removed her from the equation.
And completely delete, shift, alt, delete, and do my thing.
Wow. You know that the fact that you even know that, for some people who are watching this, they're like, how can you say that? But it's a truth. And I think that's where a lot of times people don't get out of the cycle because they don't want to face the truth. And you clearly have really faced this truth due to the circumstances of where it put you. Because I'm sure by the time you're in hospital and this is a doctor saying, you guys need to talk. It obviously was heavy.
And now you see from her, she's coming from the point of, I have sacrificed everything for you.
What do you mean?
Not even what do you mean. I have sacrificed everything for you so that you can have a better life than I did. But this is how you're responding to my sacrifice. So even her, she's hurt. So we are both hurting each other.
Yeah. So I know the journey obviously is not one that was easy.
No, it wasn't.
But you did get to be friends, as you say.
Yes.
What was the turning point and what made this become easy? And you said, this is my friend and I want her to be part of my everything. Now you're sharing with her, you've opened up. What was the thing that you can remember?
I think when she was diagnosed, and so one thing that happened around that time is we had to have therapy just to, as a family, just for, this is now our new reality. And that's the first time I saw her as a human being. Wow. She was always my mother, but that's the first time, because that's the first time I had her say, I know I can beat this. I know I will beat this, but I'm scared. I'm like, hey?
Mom has said she's scared.
You can't be scared.
Wow.
My Wakanda. Hey, what do you mean? Warrior of the warriors. Yeah. You can't be scared. And that's when, in my mind, first of all, I was in denial for about 3 months. Not denial of the disease, but denial that she's scared.
Oh, okay.
Because in my head, the math wasn't mathing.
Because she's a warrior, in your opinion.
And then it's not just me. Like, many people are saying how strong she is, how courageous. So I'm like, what do you mean? Please.
You can't put scared and courageous and warrior and
strong in the same sentence. Yeah. So we need to reevaluate. Yeah. Let's go back. Let's change the meaning of scared. And then now we can operate, And so it took me about, for 3 months, I was in denial. And I remember a question my therapist asked me was, are you in denial because you're protecting yourself, or are you in denial because you don't want to face the truth?
Wow. Now, how did that answer go?
Hey! First of all, I walked out of that session because I was big and I was like, I'm not paying to be bullied. I'm out. But the truth of the matter is, I was scared because I did not want to face the truth. And the truth was, I needed to decide, do I want to work on this relationship or do I want to maintain a status quo?
And it's almost like the relationship now is being given a timeline. You know, but that's a problem with
Yes,
cancer.
and now
it's like all of a sudden we have a timeline, and I'm not ready to deal with this. I'm just getting to be this, friendship is just starting now. What are you guys telling me?
But then the friendship hadn't started. That's why we are in the early stages.
Okay.
And part of the reason why, for me, it was hard, it's because what if I end up getting more disappointed?
There's that too.
What if it's not what I think? Because you see, again, remember, that generation of Gilmore Girls, watching Gilmore Girls were like, hi.
Yeah. Then you remember where you are.
Then this Gilmore is not girling anymore at home. And then it's when you start seeing her as a human being, like for me, at least for me, when I started seeing my mom as a human being, Grace started checking in, which wasn't there before.
Right.
Before it was a military operation, but now Grace, because I'm like, by then, she can make mistakes. By then, when she does this, I need to confirm what this means. I just don't need to conclude and move on as if it's the gospel truth. But that involves work on my end. I'm like, I don't want to act. She's the bad one.
And then and she's the more adult than me.
And she's the bigger person. Me, I'm the smaller person. So why are we doing this? And then plus, it's nice to be petty. It's so much fun. Let's just be honest.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So tell me about the time when you now became friends and the journey towards, by the time you lost her, the thoughts and things that were going on.
So when now we started having conversations, and I actually remember that time my mom said, come, let's go. So me assumed it was the usual, let's go run an errand, nini. And she took me to Sarit's. Where I even remember that spot. And she just told me, I'm sorry that I haven't lived up to your expectation.
Wow.
Hey, I was so confused. I don't remember anything else. She spoke for a while. I don't remember what she said after that.
Sorry, I haven't lived up to your expectations.
And for me, that was big because she wasn't apologizing for what she's done. She's apologizing for the expectations I had.
Meaning she cares about what you feel,
yes,
what you think, unlike what you'd ever
unlike
seen.
what I thought before.
Yeah.
And now when you look at, in terms of expectations, I'm like, what does that even mean? What do I say? Do I say I'm sorry too? Like, how do we... Let me tell you, I cried. I cried. And she continued to, and she was very gentle. That's the first time I experienced her. I think I'd experienced it before, but I used to brush it off because I'm like, because I'm like, but you're my mother, so that's your role. But I think that time is when I was like, oh my God. And that day, she became intentional about having conversations, not talking at me, but having conversations with me.
Wow.
And actually picking my brain. But then now, I took longer to warm up because I was still resistant.
Were you feeling afraid? Were you...
I don't know, honestly. I actually need to unpack that. Yeah. I don't know what was going on. But maybe it's because I was just, you see the way you're told better, the devil, I'm like, I'm used to this one that I know. At least I know how I have mechanisms, I have ways, I know how to navigate and I know how to, but now this is new territory where we're apologizing for expectations. I'm like, what is that?
My African mother.
Yes. And then now, so what I appreciate and I miss to date is she was persistent. She never gave up.
Oh, that's nice.
Even when I didn't respond immediately, she never gave up.
Oh, man, that's beautiful.
And now I was close to some aunties, like she'd go and talk to them so that she gets to know me better. I didn't know this until after she'd left, and my auntie was like, your mom used to ask us what kind of person you were.
She really wanted to be intentional.
She actually really wanted to know, who is this daughter that I've been living with for all these years.
Wow. That's amazing. Kudos to her.
Yes.
For trying to bridge that no matter which way and no matter your resistance. That's not easy. And especially of a a mother of that generation, they
Yes.
don't normally do that.
Who has sacrificed everything, and then she comes.
Yeah.
So I think the turning point for me now came when I saw, one, there was consistency. And two, I realized, imagine I'm not going to have another mother.
Oof.
So I need to decide what I'm doing with the one I have.
That's tough. That's tough. That I have one mother, I'm not going to have another one. That's tough, because I think a lot of us take it for granted.
Yes.
We really take it for granted.
Yes. And so now, when that happened, and I started also addressing the lies I'd believed about her. And that wasn't easy. And one thing that I regret, I wish I would have been more open earlier, because then would have had a longer time of a beautiful relationship, as opposed to, I honestly feel like her leaving was very premature, because I'm like, we just gotten the hang of it, and then now you're gone. What does that mean? Make it make sense.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm grateful that I got to experience a beautiful relationship. I remember even when, like, it got to a point, like even when I'm going for a business meeting, I'm like, Mom, I'm going for this meeting. Please pray for me. After the meeting, like, how was it? And I'm like, yeah, it was this and
that
this
was
and
never
this.
there before.
It wasn't there before. Like, we used to banter. I remember when she left and the first therapy sessions I had for grief. And my therapist asked me, what do you miss most about her? Everyone was saying I smiled, and me, I was like, I miss the banter. There was just a banter that was just specific to me and her.
And it was so sweet because it had never been there. And then
It had
now
never been there,
and
and now
and
it's
you
there.
love it.
Yes. And in 2022, she had a major surgery. And I remember she was telling me, I'm going to be here till I'm 80. So don't worry, you're not getting rid of me this early. Despite what the doctors say, she's like, I'm going to be here. So you're not getting rid of me. We still have time and everything. That was not something that was there before.
That conversation.
Yes. I told before, our relationship was very transactional. I need this. Nini, you do this, you do that, full stop. There was no relationship. But now we are forming this relationship. We're both healing from the heart. We're both trying to rewrite the story. We're both trying to create a new dynamic that, again, doesn't come naturally, because it's not, in Africa, as Africans, we're not used to talking about, first of all, we're not used to introspecting.
No.
We're not used to talking about our feelings. I'm like, what are feelings?
I remember being beaten for telling my mother that, but you're hurting my feelings. Let me tell you. Anyway, let me ask, how long then, by the time you felt now this friendship has come, we're now conversing, how long did you get to have of that relationship before she passed?
Before she close friendship, 2 years. But a friendship, about 4 years. Okay. 4 years, including the 2 years. But close friendship was 2 years, between 2022 and 2024, when now she left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a huge thing to even open up about. And so I must say kudos to you to even wanting to talk about it, because it's still fresh.
Yeah.
It's still fresh. It's just a year. It's still fresh. And there are memories that you obviously would have loved to continue to grow with her. Now, as you speak about her, and now that you've learned about this generational thing, what are some of the things that you are actively doing to ensure you don't carry them forward?
For me, it's unlearning the survival mechanisms that I had come up with. And when you've been in survival for so long, you forget to breathe.
Yeah.
And so it's unlearning. It's I am not able to function at 100% now. That's okay. Doesn't mean I'm less than.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm a failure. It just means during this season, I'm not able to show up as I would like. But I am showing up, and that's okay. The second thing is reparenting myself. I remember the first time I had that in therapy, I was like, so now that means I beat myself and I've made a mistake. And my therapist
You're so dramatic.
laughed.
What is that?
And my therapist laughed. I was like, reparenting is not just about discipline, but you see, because of the relationship I'd had, for me, parenting equals discipline.
Yeah.
But now it's way bigger. It's influence. It's almost an extension. It's legacy. And so it's learning to, okay, so what do I want for myself? I'm like, what do I want then Achie for 2026 to look like?
Yeah.
So what can I do now to nurture that Achie so that she can thrive in 2026?
So it's intentional mapping of a new direction for your life.
Yes, completely.
And that is what you are working on now.
Yes. And also being brutally honest with yourself. We think being honest with other people is harder, but I think being honest with yourself is the hardest.
Yeah.
Because then you have to look at yourself and being like, and here I'm being selfish.
No, and I totally hear that. And I imagine that there are so many people out there who are working on themselves without having done that part, that part of being honest with yourself, that understanding of there's a thing called reparenting. And I don't know, what would you tell that person right now who maybe has gone through living their parents' marking scheme, is starting to see traits and triggers that are showing up, and they're like, but this is not me. What would you advise them? And maybe we can pray for them.
Yeah. I think one would be, what you don't change will repeat itself.
Okay.
My mom, because of what she went through with her dad, she repeated in me. If I hadn't dealt, in as much as it hurts you and you're like, I will never, ever do that. When you're faced with the same situation, you'll probably respond
the
same way. And it's because in your subconscious, that's a blueprint. And so when you're responding, it's just coming from the blueprint and taking it to the foreground, and then it's manifesting. And it's being in a space where you're able to look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of what you see. Forget about everyone else.
Yeah.
Are you able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm so proud because this is the best version of myself now? You may not be where you want to be, but now this is the best version. If you can be able to honestly say this is the best version of yourself, then you're in the right track.
I like that.
But if you're looking at yourself and you're like, address those. Because at the end of the day, life is for the living. And one of the things when I started now therapy, I remember my therapist told me, your parents have lived their life.
Now you need to live yours.
So you need to decide, do you want to be an extension of their life, or do you want to live your life?
There you go.
And no one can make that decision for you. No one can show you, can push you to show up for yourself.
You have to decide.
You have to decide and you have to show up for yourself.
Yeah.
And then I think all is not lost. Like, our God is a God who redeems.
Yeah.
Would I have wanted to have a beautiful relationship with my mom from the word God? Definitely, yes, 1,000%. But I don't have regrets because I've been able to taste. And for some of us, maybe your parent may not be able to reach out, but if possible, reach out to them. You may never know.
Yeah. Take the step.
Take the step, because again, whoever knows better can do better.
I like that. Whoever knows better
can do better. Because maybe for them, it's a foreign concept. I honestly, if in as much as a family, cancer was the worst thing that my mom would have gone through, without it, I don't think she would have gone to therapy, and I don't think we would have repaired our relationship.
So you see, sometimes God does things in a way that we don't agree with or are happy with, but the end game is what matters.
Yeah, and I think finally it's, I was the primary caregiver for my mom up until she left. And in as much as people be like, oh, black tax, for me, I never felt it as a burden. It was an honor.
That's so nice to say.
And I remember I used to tell my friends, I used to tell God, thank you for this opportunity that I'm able to love on her.
Because you'd have missed all.
I would have missed all
of
that.
if you had stayed where you had been.
Yes, and do you know it? It was so interesting. Every time we used to go to hospital, my mom used to be asked, bodyguard ako wapi? I was the bodyguard.
Bodyguard. Oh, now you know we need to wrap this up. I know we could have this conversation forever. And you did mention that there's a specific prayer you want to make for anybody who's watching. So I want you to make a brief prayer. Okay. And then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, so let's just pray. Almighty and everlasting Father, I just come before you to thank you for you're our Redeemer. You're the God who sees, and you're our Father. And Father, you created families and you created relationships because in that communion you saw power. Lord, for families that are hurting, who mothers and daughters who are not reconciled to each other, sons and fathers who are not reconciled to each other, children who are traumatized by their parents, who are hurting, parents who are hurting because of decisions that the children have made. Lord, I know you are the God who redeems. And Father, in your word, you said, you will redeem even the years that the locusts have eaten. And Father, I've been able to taste that and experience that. And Father, I just, in your divine way, I ask you to just help many of us experience that. Help there to be reconciliation and a beautiful friendship to grow between parents and children, for the different hearts, the different pain points that they've gone through. Lord, just help them recover, oh God, and let there be a beautiful communion between parents and their children and their grandchildren and their, even the ones who have great grandchildren, oh God, and just let just work to turn hearts towards each other, work to, get people to have a broken and a contrite heart, that they may be able to look at you and say, Father, we need you, we invite you into this space, come and have your way. And Father, all the glory and honor will be yours, because we know the beauty that we're going to experience from reconciliation can only be attributed to you. I'm praying all this to Christ our Lord, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Beautiful prayer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know guys at home are happy to hear that prayer for your families, and just take the points that Achie has been so vulnerable to share. Take the step. I think that's the most important thing, that it doesn't have to be that you're waiting for your parent because they're older, wiser to take the step. If you know that this is what you need to do, take the step. Stop the parental trauma traveling down to the next generation. Achie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you sharing and being vulnerable enough to open up about this story. And kudos to you. You didn't cry, so this is good. You didn't cry, so this is good. Yeah. So thank you everyone for being here, for watching. Remember, if you want to be on this show and you would like to share your story, we are dealing with parental trauma for this year, this second season. You can drop us an email, conversationswithkalekye@gmail.com. You can always share this with other people, follow, subscribe, get on to our socials, and let us know what you think of the show. A big shout out to my partners, that is Delish for the amazing makeup and hair, and also Evolve Fashion for my amazing fit. Thank you for being here. And remember, this is where love finds a voice. Don't let the forces that affect you from outside completely control who you are on the inside. Release the trauma, speak up, get the help you need. Until next time, take care.